So what I'm doing is checking the cam bearings. I knocked out my rear one, which this would have been the rear journal, and then I took the new one, which my understanding in the 460 all of them are the same diameter. These bearings, Durabonds, made in the USA. On a 460, all the bearings are the same size. So what I've done with using a feeler gauge is I went in and filled for the clearance of the cam bearing of the new one. Put it on. I let it set, and then I run the feeler gauge in there, and I usually do a go, no-go type feeler, and this went to 0.004, and that was pretty tight.
With it sitting on the table though, wouldn't that make the gap different?
It makes the top gap as large as it's going to be.
Okay.
Now, hopefully, if it's oil filled and oil is going around it, it would be centered in the hole, and so the space would be less. However, what you're trying to do with the filler gauge is get the precise diameter and clearance between the bearing and the cam. So it's sitting there with a weight on it.
Okay.
It's pushing it upwards, so it's going to give me the maximum amount of gap.
Okay.
And the go no go is you put a feeler gauge in it, starting with one that fits, and you keep going until you get the snug. You'll get one that you will feel pretty good. It goes in kind of hard, but it's smooth back and forth. Your very next feeler gauge up won't go in. So that's the no-go. Mm-hmm. So then you know that it's less than the feeler gauge that wouldn't go in, but it should be the size of the one that went in and slid back and forth. And this one happened to be 0.004, which is not tight, but not uncommon for a motor that's been run. So my intent was to knock the cam bearings out, do a quick hone on it just to scuff the cylinders so our rings will seat back in, and then put the bearings, cam bearings back in and get the cam in, and then we can start buttoning the motor up. My intent. In addition, do we have a new mic system? I hope it's working. We do have the loud turboprop fan going. I hope that's not drowning out the new mics that me and the co-builder have on. So I'll take this bearing back off. And I did have a very odd looking mark on this bearing here. I don't like it. So I'm glad we're doing cam bearing. It looks like something took a chunk out of it. You want to take a look at it? It's hard to see because it's kind of the same color.
Oh, I see it. Well, is there a possibility of whatever that was on the pistons made it to here?
To get to there, it would have had to go through all the oil system. Is it possible that something would have got in the oil system? It wouldn't have went in through the intake portion of it. So I don't think so, but we're not quite sure what it was or what boogered up the tops of the pistons. Oh, I should say 4 pistons.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll keep going. Where we're at right now is we're cleaning and we're slowly assembling. I got more, of course, more work to do to King Toad, but I got this motor in the same garage as I'm doing all my other work to it, grinding and cleaning, all that stuff with that. But so I want to get this motor buttoned up, closed up before I do any more grinding, because if I get any kind of slop on it, I'll just be paranoid about it and have to tear it down again. So we're going to do the motor, get it closed up, and then get back to getting on the Toad, Mr. King Toad. Alright, so I got the compressor going. I'm going to take this to the parts cleaner. I got fresh parts cleaner fluid in there. We're going to clean out all the passageways, the ports, scrub on it, any deposits. I have some, I don't know, old oil gook on here. I'm going to get that stuff off. Make sure all the journals are good. Everybody's clean. Get some bearings back in it. Get her zipped down. So I'll be gone just for a few minutes. And 4, Too bad this isn't a aluminum 460 crank. Alright, we're back. I'm not sure for how long, but anyway. I got this new bearing here and it's got a little booger. I guess from shipping. Now you don't see it, but I already have a slight oil residue there. Well, that's interesting. This has a double hole for the oil holders, of course, but this one has a slot. And these others are slotted versus double hole. In other words, where the oilers are, it's slotted. Or no, it's slotted, sorry. As you were, I'm just seeing the holes. So these get pushed down into place, just like this. Notches to one side, oil holders lining up. They're even off. Very good, very good. And they're asking for that offset. For the seal. Do not have your fingers on the bearing surface. Rotates. Now I got to make sure all these caps are cleaned. And I'll be right back. They've already did a spell in the sonic cleaner. Wonder what I'm doing now. Something we've always done is using STP oil treatment. It's more or less a different type of assembly lube. Okay, we'll put a dab on the threads. And we'll use that just to seat it. That's all I'm doing right now is just seating these in. And these should go down really easy. If not, you might have an issue. Of course, this is number 1 main, facing towards the front of the block. So just to make sure I don't have an issue, I put that first one on. I will at least do a 360. Alright. And then we'll go number 2. Looking at the surfaces, look pretty good. I will give it a blow out here. Number 2 and 4. Could use electric if you want it on it. I don't like using electric when I'm doing mains and rod bolts and stuff. I actually like to feel it. I like to feel how the bolt's going down. Let's go. Good hand tight. Break your wrist tight. Just hand tight. It won't come back for me. Make sure the bearing's seated. Give it 360. No change in resistance. It's good. So number 3. Give it a blow out. On 460, the number 3 is your thrust bearing. It has the side skirts on it. Alright, so I don't know if my battery is going dead or what, but anyway. So now I got all these now on here. I've done my silicone on the tips of the rear seal. These all been lubed. We've got to do another rotation here I haven't done. Alright, that was one full rotation. And she feels good. Smooth. Very smooth. Alright. Nothing grinding. So next thing is torque. Torque specs 460. 68 to 74. Main bearings 95 to 105. Same as 429 anyway. Why 100 and 105? Well, because I'm typically a 3-timer. I check this main 3 times. Sometimes you can bump it a little up. So I may end up at 101 or 102. You do that? Well, mainly because that's how I was taught to do it. I don't know. I was told it was because this is a lot of torque, big block, or really not just a big block, but a lot of torque on these 2-bolt mains, and you have kind of a, I don't know, a bolt stretching, a metal arch seating, and doing it 3 times to make sure everybody is squished, and then it's down there. You could probably get away with 1. You could probably get away with 2, most certainly. But the 3rd time is just to make sure. But any time you do those bumps on the clicker, it seems like you always give it a little bit more than the click. Because really, just because it clicks doesn't mean it don't stop turning. It doesn't just kick off and I won't torque anymore. It's still torquing. You keep pulling the handle even after the click, you're tightening. So I give myself a little play. Probably 105. Manufacturers already maybe put a little over torque in there. To maybe you can go to 110 or 108 or whatever, but I think for what we're using this motor for, it's going to be a puller. She's going to be a toter. I'm not drag racing it. I'm not going to give her the beans. I got her for horsepower at pump gas and a lot of torque. That's it. I don't need a blower, don't need turbos, don't need additional stuff to go down the intake. All I need is a good intake and a good carb, and early 429, 460 intakes, 69, 70s, the 71, heavy, weigh as much as, I don't know, probably 3 aluminum intakes. But the performance and porting of them work good. Work good. If you want the car to be a little heavier, that's one way of getting weight on it. Anyway, so let's go for number 3. Get her done. So our next step now would be doing pistons, that would be nice to get that pistons and stuff in today. It'd be awesome. I gotta go search up some stuff. Plus I got a pile of cleaning. We gotta clean. Well, I have partially cleaned some of the pistons. I shouldn't say partially. I did a rough cleaning on all the pistons, but I still got to go through and do the ring groove cleaning, and then whatever cleaning on the rods. Rods, kind of like the crank in this motor. It had a lot of gook in the passageways, the water passageways, but when I say rusty particles and stuff, that we hosed out of there pretty good, so I'm pretty confident that's pretty good. I think I'll probably take a coffee break, and then we'll come back and get into her again. And maybe we get some pistons in today. That would be pistons in today, getting the short block pretty much wrapped up would be good. Good. Time and cover with the that thing needs to be soaked. That's probably what I'll do now. Before I take a coffee break, I'll go soak that time and cover, and we'll that way when we go to clean it, it'll be a little bit easier to clean up. So let's do that. I'll take the spacer with me. This is one of the pistons, and of course this is the ring grooves. All the rings have been removed. So what we do, this is a ring groove cleaner. It has several different teeth here. It's kind of dusty because you don't really use them that much. It has the wheel and the teeth on it right here, and it also has a depth adjustment here. This is so you don't dig too deep into the ring itself where the ring goes. And this is supposed to release enough There's a spring of retention here. So let's see who's supposed to go in here. You don't go. You don't go. Is it that one or that one? I think it's that one. I don't like that. So, what I can also do here's the low buck groove cleaner. You take an old ring that fits the groove, and you do that. And that'll clean the old carbon out. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it usually gets it pretty good. Now sometimes these have a different notch on the inside, so then you have to spin it and go back the other way like that. If the notch doesn't get the whole thing clean. Do that. And I'll run that around there until she's smooth and shiny. I'll flip around and go the other way again. Like that. Oil groove is usually not that bad. A little scraping on her, and that's about it. Which one? Number 5. So, got that nice and clean. I'll take and hit it with a blower, and then we'll do another. Currently cleaning the piston ring grooves. I'm on piston number 4, or my 4th piston clean. And we're going to clean the grooves, ring grooves first, and then we're going to turn around and clean the pistons and rods up in the parts washer. Up, and we're going to go back in the motor. I know I mentioned in some of the other videos, this is a 1971 Lincoln 460. Supposedly somewhat low mileage. I will say it is below 100,000 mile motor. The wear pattern, I would say, indicative to your motor of 50, 60,000. I didn't have much of a groove. Some of the motors that I've taken apart, and I've taken quite a bit of 460s apart. 429s, 460s, 100,000 milers. Well, from the 70s, you can usually tell they are good to beat all. Your Quaker Bakers some where all you could see was the tops of the valve springs and the rockers. They were so just gook everywhere. So again, I'm running this cleaner through, or a piece of ring through, and get the carbon out. I go both directions. The oil ring groove is pretty darn clean. I mean, some oil residue, and that's about it. Just very little. Again, that's why I think it was my dad had gotten this motor, and they said that it was for low mileage. But people have different definitions of low mileage. It's another weird piston ding. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's almost like wire fragments that went down the left side of the carburetor, because it was only the pistons on that intake runs that have this, and these are of course at the bottom of the piston. So it was like chunks of wire from something. I try to think of what would produce a bunch of chunks of wires. Like, I don't know, somebody had a really coarse wire wheel and cleaned the top of the intake off or something, and some wires went down one side, or a chunk or something. But I don't know. It's the strangest pattern. I have found no thread marks, no hex marks, or anything of that nature that would say that was a screw or a bolt. I had one person say he thought it was a washer, which is possible, but it would have had to been more than one. I mean, would have had to been at least 4 washers, because it's four marks on pistons. Now, if it had only been one piston, that had been like a singular thing. To me, it was more like a group. Like if somebody took a really coarse wire wheel, like one of those twisted, stranded ones, and said, well, I'm going to clean the intake gasket off, or the carburetor gasket off, and on that one side, a set of barbs went down. They didn't know it or see it until they put the car back on, or did whatever repair or something they were doing, and that just, and of course it looks like it was run that way with these marks for most of its life, because all the carbon was on top of them. These were not fresh or within when the car was taken out. These were all the marks all have deep carbon. So I don't know. That makes number 4. Now get number 5. Start going downhill. And I'll do the same as I did the crank. Ooh. This is the one I still have stuck ring in. I'll let it soak with some master plaster. See if I really get it out right now. Okay, well, that's going to be it for the moment. I think I'll go ahead and we'll pause this for a bit. Well, actually what we're going to do is I'll go ahead and do a close just for the heck of it. And if I don't get back to it today, well, we're going to try to get the pistons put in tonight, so I imagine you're going to have some more video here with our other camera. The camera, not my phone. Which I hope the audio is working on this one, because first time I tried it on the phone. Anyway. But anyway, that's what I'm doing so far. The pistons will be sitting there drying a little more. They're kind of warm. Clean them off with hot water and blow them off. And that seems to disperse the oil and whatever goop is left off of it. They come pretty clean. So we're taking another break. But remember what I say. Don't do what I do. Go out and do you. This isn't necessarily an informational training video. Just how I do it. This is not a super rebuild motor. This is take a motor that was mildly run, medium mileage on it, and freshen it up to hopefully get, I don't know, 20,000-30,000 miles out of it. Would be nice. Of just pulling a hot rod down the road, and our rat rod, or cool rod, whatever you want to call it. So, right now I'm going to sign off the Roto Garage. Remember what God bless. Go out in the garage, have fun, and buttoning up the King Code's power plant for tonight. We just put the rods in it, new standard bearings throughout the motor, new rings, cleaned up everything. We're still cleaning parts, time to cover and stuff like that. We'll do tomorrow. But remember what code says. Don't do what I do. It's not a training video, but it helps you or motivates you or tells you some of the stuff that you can do. Go out there in the garage and have fun. Have a good time. Find a good code builder. And God bless and code out.